May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are on a mission to help people get the support that they need. There are free resources out there for you, and here to guide us is founder of In It Together Coaching, Ruth Pierce. Good morning, Ruth.
Good morning, Thalia. Thank you for inviting me on the program.
We're so happy to have you. Now, we know mental health is an issue that is sometimes overlooked. We're often focused on physical health, but mental health is equally as important. So can you talk a little bit about coaching and what it is as opposed to therapy or seeing a therapist?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. So one of the things I think that is most striking about therapy is that we spend a lot of time figuring out how we got to where we are. And there's a kind of implied assumption that there's something we need to fix, that it's broken and it needs repairing. When we go into coaching, it's much more of a strengths-based approach. So we're looking at where are you starting, where do you want to go, and how do you build from where you are to where you want to end up. And sometimes what people need is just a kind of sounding board, particularly if they're going through something difficult. Just talking out loud, that is the therapeutic side of coaching. It isn't therapy. We're not going to ask them specific questions about how they got to this point. So it is a mixture of goal setting and achievement, and sometimes it's just unpacking what's going on.
Right, and a coach can then recommend therapy if that be the case, right?
So coaches are always looking out. We're licensed to coach. We're not licensed to be a therapist or a financial advisor. We're always keeping an eye out for situations where another professional might be more appropriate, and we'll explore with the client how that fits for them. Sometimes people will have a coach and a therapist.
Since it is Mental Health Awareness Month, we're kind of wondering how one would know if they're on the right track emotionally and mentally. When do they reach out?
I would say reach out always. It's like your physical health. We don't wait until we have a physical problem in order to start exercising or moving around. The way we maintain and secure our mental health is to take care of it. So it's always beneficial to have someone that we can speak to, someone we can explore things with, someone who can challenge us to think about different ways of going about what we're doing in life.
Yeah, that makes me think of, like you mentioned, when you go to a doctor, you go for an annual checkup. It's something that you just want to check in and make sure that everything's okay. So there's a little bit of stigma around mental health issues, but how do we make people feel hopeful or confident that it is okay to put themselves out there to find out what's going on with their mental health?
So one of the things that was a real surprise to me, I took my strengths assessment about 6 years ago, and one of my top strengths came out as bravery. And as someone who's always been anxious about practically everything, I was astonished. That made no sense to me until I realized that I'm someone who feels anxiety and does it anyway, which is the definition of bravery. So when we focus on finding out what is great about us, what is strong about us, we change that lens from these are the things I can't do well, these are the things that don't work about me, to a lens of, oh, I have things that do work, and let me build on those.
Yes, and the more you know about yourself, the more opportunity you have to grow. So you are one of the resources that people can take advantage of with this In It Together. Can you talk a little bit about what that is and what you do?
Yes, so we are a group of coaches. There's 13 of us, probably soon going to be 15, who came together at the beginning of COVID because we saw how enormously difficult it was for people to make that sudden transition from whatever was normal on Friday to whatever was coming on Monday. And we started to offer group coaching. What we found was by bringing groups of people together, more people can get access to the resource, and the groups themselves support each other. So our In It Together coaching is all about leveraging your strengths, finding out what your strengths are, and then working with other groups of people.
How would people get involved if they're interested in exploring your In It Together coaching?
So the best way is to come to our website, which is projectmotivator.com. And also when you get to that website, you will find there is access to a free resource there to start that journey of finding out what your character strengths are. So you'll be able to start to explore right away, what is it that is special about you? And from there, you'll be able to explore what options we have available to support you further.
Wonderful. Ruth Pierce, thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Thank you. Thanks so much for inviting me.
And we'll be right back.